Hello gamers! Welcome back to another free-to-play Ultimate Iron Man progress video. So it's been a few months since my last progress video, and I do apologize for that, just busy with life and all. But a lot has happened between now and then. A couple updates, especially the big one being forestry, and just a lot of updates in general with what I've been doing with my account and stuff. So kind of getting started with forestry. So this came out just about a month ago, I think, and at first I wasn't gonna really involve myself with it at all, just because I already have 99 woodcutting and 99 fire making. But it was what ended up happening was this was like the day it released. I was in voice chat with some of the people in the free-to-play clan, and they were, at Draenor, a village here, looking for events and such. And I thought, all right, well, I got nothing else going on like my alt account. I may as well help, hop worlds and scout out events and stuff, because this was like first day when there was like no restrictions. Like you literally just like hop to wherever the events were, whatever world, and you would get like full XP. And this was like the big XP too at like the first few days. So I was on my alt doing that while I think my main was rune crafting, and eventually it was like, yeah, looks sort of fun. I may as well give it a try for a bit. So this is kind of what you're seeing here. You're only seeing one of my alt accounts as well in the bottom corner, but I had two of my alt accounts hopping through all of the worlds looking for events and stuff. Most of the events would happen on World 301 just because that's where everybody is, and I think that's where everyone still is. But there were people working on other worlds too, so what we had was a system where bunch of us were hopping, and as soon as we'd find an event, we would call it out, and we'd all hop over and get involved with it. So getting into what forestry is, there's been a shit ton of ramble videos and all that already, so I won't bore you with too much of the details. It's the sapling events and the rising root events. And the sapling, you just collect the like 3 items and put it on the sapling. Roots, you chop the roots. You try to chop like the green one that gives more XP than the others. And so I did it for a bit because mostly because I wanted to see how it would affect fire making. And it doesn't affect fire making at all really, because you don't get logs from doing the events. And so when I tried it out here, I really was just AFKing the willow tree while I hopped on the other accounts. And I was getting very high rates. I got, as the video is showing here, I was getting like 160, 165k an hour. I think Pause, who was a little more involved and had the rune axe, while I only had the Addy axe here, and he was getting like 180k. So rates were like stupidly high, and it was really just like totally crazy. Like overnight, changed up like the whole skill for woodcutting and like crazy increased the rates and all that. So I don't know. I won't get too much into it, but yeah, just it was fun for a little bit. Just yeah, sure, everybody was doing it, and it's fun to get a lot of big XP really quickly. But it definitely, I do think, is more of a detriment to the game than it is a benefit. Just as it seems like most of the people who talked about it being like, oh, it's like good for social skilling, like Draenor Willows was already a social skill. This just made it, that like it had a bunch more people there for a few days. So I don't know. I I didn't really enjoy it that much, but luckily I don't have to enjoy it because, like I was saying earlier, the events don't give logs, and woodcutting is a 0 time skill because the amount of woodcutting XP you'll get from 99 fire making and 99 rune crafting with canoes will get you more than the woodcutting XP you need. So, yeah, tried it out for a little bit. Didn't really like it much, but whatever. Besides forestry, one of the other big things that happened between the last video and now is my clan, World 385, had another EHP competition for the month of June, which was a little unfortunate because I was pretty much traveling all of the first half of June, And then the second half, I was really busy catching up with work, and I wasn't able to play nearly as much as I wanted to. So I won't even show my gains. I was like 34th place or something. You can look it up yourself. Really not my best showing, but yeah, I just didn't really have the time and the motivation to put in any big hours. But definitely do want to give a couple shout outs to Bald for, first just for being like a beast that month, putting in a 300 and doing a bit of rune crafting and whatever else he was doing. And then obviously Nice Wario and Puppy Hunt for second and third place. All three of them now have the custom icons in the clan chat, so definitely jealous of that. And then yeah, just big congrats to everyone else in general who was able to put in bigger hours than they usually do and make the comp more exciting. So while I didn't have a really good showing in June, July was definitely a good month for me in terms of getting a lot of different gains in. So if you'll remember from my last video, I talked about how I was about to get into the Hill Giant grind, and pretty much what happened was that I started off with training some attack, and I think I played for like maybe 4 hours or something, not even like a full 6 hour, but I decided to do a 6 hour log just so that I could get the update and grab the free rank 1 for the free to play Ultimate Iron Man 6 hour category on Temple. And after I did that, it sort of came to the realization that a lot of those records were just sort of wide open, and I figured, why not every weekend or so try to go for one of these. So definitely went for a lot more than I thought I was going to, but I'll give you a quick breakdown of how I did it. So first, I started off with I was still getting up to like base like 85 for attack and defense. So I did quick records of those. And then I think like the first time I did like a Hill Giant trip, I had like 52 keys, and I decided to just send all those keys within 1 6 hour and update that. Because not many people realize, but Temple doesn't just have stealing 6 hour records; they also have like a bunch of other ones like the bosses and clue scrolls. So then after that, used up those laws, telegramming, and I got a bunch of nature runes, and it's like, all right, well, I have enough nature runes to send a full 6 hour of superheating. And that was really good because that got me the smithing record, the magic record, and the mining record 6 hours. And then after that, I decided I wanted to go for the rune crafting 6 hour. And so I don't like the idea of doing records that are with banked supplies. I think that's a little lame. But for the runecrafting 6 hour, I did that doing Chronicle to New Earths, and I got like, I think it was like 28k XP, which only put me in third place because Terra Throne and Suzushudo had both done body rune 6 hours. And so I figured, if we were going to do, 6 hours of banked supplies, I just went ahead and I sent a couple hours of Minotaurs to get all of the bone fragments and the noted essence. And I didn't feel too bad about doing that just because Minotaurs are like technically supposed to be the fastest, like most efficient way to play this game. So it wasn't like doing something stupid like banking noted essence from like body golems or something like that. So I ended up sending up really good 51k, like almost perfect. I think I only had like one or two inventories of essence where I AFK'd it instead of two teching just so I had to like use the bathroom or grab a snack or something. And so pretty proud of that. I'm pretty sure that 6 hour is gonna hold on for a while unless they release some new method or something. And then let's see. After that, I decided to do the fire making 6 hour. I wanted to give double snow willows a try, which is the method that you're looking at right now. And that was pretty interesting. Just I had tried double snow in the past, but I didn't really like how the trees would deplete and like you'd have to like react to it and all that. It wasn't really that much of an issue, but Forestry pretty much removed that as part of their whole like countdown timer for when a tree is going to be depleted. Which I mean that's a whole thing that whatever. But yeah, so give that a try. Got the 6 hour there. I thought about going for just a regular double snow woodcutting, but woodcutting 0 time, and if you're if I wanted a 0-time record, I have to like power mine iron for mining or something like that. So decided to leave it with just fire making. I only did it with double snow. I didn't do it with the rat in Port's Rim for the 2.66 tick, just because I wanted to kind of be, friendly to level 3s so that they could potentially grab the record too. But apparently they're gonna release like the fun like melee splash weapon again, because enough like level 3s talked about it and wanted it. So maybe level 3s will do 2.66 tick in the future. We'll see. And then other than that, the last thing I did was I decided to send a like actually decent 6-hour record at Hill Giants for strength, and that got me, that was a pretty good good 6 hours of like using strength potions, prey flicking as much as I could, averaged like 45k, which for like 90, I think it was like 90 strength at the time and 85 attack. I thought that was pretty good. And that, of course, got me the HP, and that got me the prayer 6-hour record, just because you train prayer while you do it, and you don't have the world hop like up at the boneyard. And so, yeah, feeling pretty good about these 6 hours. I don't think I'm going to go for any more in the future. Really, the point of why I did this was that I really just wanted to bring awareness to the fact that these things exist, and that they're like a fun thing that you can do. And so I definitely recommend to like all the people that watch this, like a lot of these records are wide open, especially like if you narrow it down to like just like UIM or hardcore or Greyhelm. A lot of these records are pretty easy to grab. So why not, like, if you got 3 to 6 hours to chill on a weekend, why not give them a try and see how well you can do. I will say though, there are a couple that I don't think anyone's gonna beat anytime soon. Mid-level Stilla's 6-hour crafting record is pretty much impossible, just because he like cut all of the noted gems he had gotten during random events from 200 mil woodcut firemate and 200 mil fishing cooking, like way back in the day. So unless some new method comes out, I don't think that'll ever be beaten. He has like a 90 something K, and I think like tick perfect crafting guild cow leather is only like can only get like 70k or something in a 6-hour, because the regular silver method requires world hopping, which you can't do for a 6-hour record. And then other people like Terra Thrones fishing and cooking 6-hour records, I think those are going to be locked in for a while because nobody else is doing his snowfire fishing method. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with these, and the only ones I'll probably gain in the future will be if I ever switch over to doing Moss Giants and Bryophyta. I might get a Bryophyta record, but yeah, stuff for the future. So the man-made horror you're looking at right now is pretty much what my account is going to be looking like for the next couple of months or maybe years, depending on how things go. We'll see. But yeah, essentially this is what I call the Hill Giant loop. Now, a big part of playing in Ultimate Iron Man mode is that you don't have a bank, right? And so because you don't have a bank, and because you're doing wilderness activities, a lot of what you do is pretty limited to, how much you feel comfortable taking into the wilderness. And so because of that, I've sort of devised this plan for how I'm going to be able to still do efficient smithing through, telegrabbing, as well as doing other methods like Boneyard Prayer without really risking anything I don't want to lose. And so essentially how the loop works is kind of, going clockwise here. Start out killing hill giants. I kill hill giants in the giant plateau near Alcarid. This is way better of a spot than the Edgeville or the Wilderness Hill Giant spot, just because for the most part, even a few years after release, this still has way less bots than the Edgeville dungeon, as well as just way less noobs. It also has just a shit ton of hill giants, so it's you're never waiting for hill giants to spawn like you would at Edgeville. And it also has multiple bone drops, like regular small bone drops lying around on the ground. And so you combine, all those things together, and pretty much you can get really good rates for both melees and for prayer. And so yeah, this is where I do the bulk of my melee XP. Uh, I do have a two bone reference video out, just because I focus on like the southern half of the area where there's the two small bone spawns. It's technically more efficient to also bury that third bone drop that's a little bit to the north, but a lot of times, like even like on like less busy days, there's still at least like one other person that'll be on my world. Especially if if I just sipped a strength potion and somebody like logs in like as soon as I sipped it, I don't want to lose the benefit. And usually I can get them to stay in the north spot and keep all the southern spot to myself. So yeah, it's a pretty fun method. I'm getting about 40, like 41 to 45-ish K melee XP an hour. And for the most part, I'm just sort of sending strength to 99. Uh, I might stop earlier, especially if I get like base 90s a little closer and I want to get attack and defense up. But for the most part, I'm just sending with strength for now. And so I'll do this. I'll collect the law runes, the nature runes, the GP, and I'll collect about 100 or so giant keys. It really just depends on like when my inventory of strength potions runs out. Like if I run out at like 80 keys, and I'll just send those. If I run out at like 110 keys, I'll send those. And essentially, if I do Obor with those, which is if you look to the right, I have the kind of sped up version of what I do, which is pretty much killing them with a melee, just kind of sitting in the corner, prey flicking, protect from missiles, since that's his like highest hitting thing. Restocking on kebabs from Al-Qarid, restoring stats at Ferox, and just doing that over and over. Pretty much, yeah. I'll send all the keys there, and I'll get all the law runes and nature runes from that. I'll also high out pretty much all of the rune drops that I get. I don't think I high out to the rune med helm just because it's not really worth it, but everything else I high out. And then something that I usually do, but not often, is if I send some kills and I'm going to go back to Hill Giants afterwards, I'll pick up the noted Limport routes, just because those make making additional strength pots really easy. But yeah, so once I do about 100 kills, that will generally get me anywhere between like 1 and 2,000 law runes, and that's generally the amount that I'm comfortable telegrabbing with. And so kind of bottom right corner, I have the way that I do telegrabbing now, which is continuous hop with just the northern 4 nature rune spawn. And this is pretty good because it's not efficient overall. It would definitely be more efficient to just do regular double hop at the southern spot and grab like both of the nature rune spawns. But generally, because I'm working with less law runes in general, I can kind of get away with doing this and not running into too many issues with hop limit, especially doing the continuous hop. And so yeah, I can generally turn, because it's a 4-to-1 ratio, so let's say I get 1,500 law runes, that will end up being like 6,000 nature runes, plus I'll usually have like another 1,000 nature runes just from Hill Giants and Obor by then, and that'll give me all I need to do superheating. Now, I actually forgot to record a clip of the actual way I superheat with the snow, but this is pretty much a close representation of what I do. Just 25 inventory slot superheating, which is good because you want to make sure that you can always just make plate bodies and you don't have to switch to doing like a 2 or a 3 bar item. And I'll do this for just, using up all the nature runes I get. Usually gets me a couple 100,000 Smith and XP, which is really nice. Just slowly working that number up. And I'll do that until I run out. And from there, I have an empty inventory. And so I don't need to be doing this, but because I want to get my base total levels up, the thing I do every time I get an empty inventory after superheating is I will go and I will do a loop in between doing Boneyard Prayer until I hit the hop limit for the day, and then I'll switch to doing Earth Rune Crafting, doing the 2-tick Essence and the Chronicle Canoe method. And this actually works out pretty well because all of the stuff you need for rune crafting, none of it is really risked when you go into the wilderness. like all your teleports are chronicle pages, and even if you die with the chronicle, you still keep all the pages in the book. You just have to buy the book back, which is only like what 250 GP, not even. And so yeah, that combined with really just like a pickaxe and a woodcutting axe, which really isn't that much weight. It would be better to do with no weight at all, obviously, but it's really a minor difference, especially because I'm not going to be doing efficient boneyard anyway, just as I really don't like that method. The method you're seeing here is the easy version of just single hopping and burying the full inventory after I pick up all the bones. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a pretty good way to go about it because I do not want to send a really long time worth of boneyard prayer or just prayer in general. So this is like a good way to balance hop limit and stuff like that, so I'm not really running into any like pauses there. And rune crafting is always nice because it's super easy to do the EHP method, and you get a ton of XP and a skill that not everyone's training at such a high level, so you start to climb the ranks pretty quickly, which is fun. And so yeah, so I'll do this until I hit a new total level. Right now I just hit base 83 not too long ago. The goal is base 90, but once I hit base 85s, I'll kind of reassess and see if I still want to keep going. But yeah, after that, I'll go back to Hill Giants, and the cycle starts all over again. And honestly, I like it. I think this is a pretty fun way to play. I've always been a skill hopper. I've never really been somebody who can just send like hundreds of hours doing the same skill over and over. So this is a pretty good way to switch things up and spend a decent amount of time doing different skills and getting this do something a little fresh. And so it's definitely what I'm going to be doing for at least a little while. The only changes I'll make in the future are once I get the Hill Giant Club from Obor, which I'm actually pretty dry on. I'm like more than 200 kills in and I still don't have it. Once I get that, depending on how interested I am in doing like the collection log, I might switch over to doing Moss Giants and Bryophyta, at least until I get the Essence. I think doing Moss Giants is better nature runes per combat XP, so I would be better smithing, but it's obviously much worse prayer XP, just because the spots that you can kill Moss Giants in, you can't get... There's no bone drops on the ground. They have higher HP, so it's less prayer XP per combat. And I don't think Bryophyta drops has that like chance to drop noted bones, or sorry, noted big bones like Obor does. So that would be the trade-off. And I think this is just kind of a general trade-off in general. If you want more smithing XP and you don't care about prayer, then it's probably better to do Moss Giants. But if you really don't want to train prayer and you don't mind telegrabbing a bit more or whatever, then I think Hill Giants are better, which is why I'm doing Hill Giants, because I really want to avoid as much boneyard as I can. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Thank you everyone for watching. This is pretty much what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of years. So if you catch me on stream or anything, you're either going to see me at Hill Giants, Obor, or Superheating, or Prayer and Runecrafting. I'm probably not going to stream telegrabbing just for obvious reasons, because I have not gotten PK'd ever, and I'm hoping to keep up that streak. So thanks again everyone for watching, and I will see you all later.